Page 217 continued. Practical idealism. Jane Austen does not sentimentalize love. She does not glorify it like earlier novelists, but her concept of a genuine union is a loftier one than theirs. She is a practical idealist. She realizes the value of money and comfortable living for a happy marriage. She has no illusions about love in a cottage, but she also realizes that married happiness depends not so much on worldly circumstances as on mutual harmony between the marriage partners. Similarly, she recognizes the presence of evil and tolerates it. Wickham is not even reformed by the end of the novel, and Lydia remains as silly and irresponsible as ever. Charlotte Brontë criticized her for not knowing the passions at all. Jane Austen was no doubt untouched by the romantic movement, and the stormy sisterhood is absent from her novels. But this does not mean that she was ignorant of the passions or that she despised them. It simply means that, like the 18th century classics, she believed that the passions should be controlled and that in writing their expression should be intellectual. Her range. Jane Austen is a great novelist, but her influence has been diffused and indirect. She has become one of the permanent points of reference by which the achievements of other novelists are measured, says Allen. She did not care for the applause of posterity, but the applause of posterity has been both loud and enduring. Today, she is admired and enjoyed by all discriminating readers. Her fame is most secure. There are various reasons for this enduring popularity of Jane Austen. For one thing, her range is limited, but she clearly recognizes her range and strictly keeps within it. She studies She studies men, their mutual relations, and she studies them from the satiric angle. Everything which is not susceptible to satiric treatment is excluded. She does away with romantic adventures, rivalries, or death scenes, for they would have interfered with her comic vision. Outbursts of passion are also avoided for this very reason. The Napoleonic Wars and references to other contemporary events are also excluded for the same reasons. It is for this reason that that most of her characters are comic. Characters which are likely to strike a jarring note are rigidly excluded. All her characters are capable of comic treatment. All have their own folly. B. Her range is further limited by the circumstance of her life and her sex. She deals only with the life of the leisured middle class in provincial towns. Otherwise, because it was only this life which she knew. She gives only those aspects of life which a woman is supposed to know and which she too knew at first hand. Thus, there is a selection and an ordering of material to convey the criticism of life. Page number 218. As she is uniformly true to her range and rigidly excludes all that is beyond it, her books have a rare charm and artistic value. Every inch of them is vital. imaginative rendering of reality. Second, she is also true to the peculiar laws that govern the art of a novel, and a novelist has to give up us the picture of the world as it is. Now, this raises two problems for him. He must reconcile reality with imagination. The result which he gives must neither be photographic nor factual reporting, nor should it be distorted by the novelist's imagination. It must be soaked in his imagination, but must still remain true to life. Jane Austen, as an artist, is able to reconcile the rival charms of reality and art. Her imagination was a comedian's imagination. She gives us a variety of true pictures of life, but such a one as one such one as also amuses. She does not falsify reality, but even then she manages to tinge it with a comic tone. Ironically, some implications of a particular formation implications of a particular situation are always brought out. This results parity from the judgment and with which she chooses her angle of vision. She puts herself in such a position that the comic implication of a situation are revealed merely by stating the facts. Thus is Emma Dr. Mr. Churchill's death is also glanced at from a point of view which brings out its humorous aspects. Comedy is implicit in the situations, in the angle of vision, and in the style, in the manner in which the story is told. Her delicate, ruthless irony is implicit in every turn of her phrase. Even when she is most straightforward, she does not seem to be speaking with a straight face. Balance between fact and form. The artist must also reconcile fact with form. The novel must have a pattern, an order, a design, and yet must create the impression of disorderly vastness of life. Jane Austen generally succeeds in this respect also. At her best, she keeps the balance between fact and form as no other English novelist has ever done. She neither twists reality to fit a logical scheme like Henry James, nor leave it pell-mell in confusion like Scott. Her stories are faultlessly constructed. Every character and every episode is necessary to the developments of the plot, but we do not notice all this art. The incidents happen so naturally, the characters that have so independent reality that we do not feel that they are parts of a design or scheme. The picture she presents to us seems no calculated composition, but rather a glimpse of the life itself. Life caught at a moment when its shifting elements have chanced to group themselves into a temporary symmetry. Universal significance of her characters. Jane Austen, then, is the only English novelist who is also a true craftsman, a true artist. She is the only one of the great novelists of England who has solved the three major problems of her art. But another important reason for her enduring popularity is the universal significance of her novels. The universal significance is achieved in two ways. Fine, she creates living characters. She penetrates beneath the surface, like the underlying principles of personality. She has a full understanding of human psychology, and this enables her to draw intricate and complex natures. She lays bare not only the process of their minds but also those of the heart. All her characters thus become living, breathing realities. She wonders whether impartially and shows them compounded both of faults and virtues like human beings. They have a universal significance. Human beings, they have a universal significance. They are not housed they have a universal significance. They are not national types but representatives of essential human nature. They reveal the weaknesses of they reveal the weaknesses and virtues of the human nature in every age and country. Her norms, taste, sense, and virtue are the true values dear to Jane Austen, and these are the values that have been dear to her to humanity. So in every humanity, dear in humanity, in every age and every country. Hence, her criticism of life accompanies a universal significance. She speaks like a characteristic. She judges her characters and their actions by minimal universal standards available at the absolutely required universal significance, and their action also by universal standards, and so they agree universal significance. There are many views and aspects of life which Jane Austen ignores, but within her own limited field she goes to the heart of the matter, and therefore she is perhaps more impressive than other novelists. End of page 218, now page 219. There can be no doubt about the sanity and wisdom of Jane Austen's view of life. Her contribution, artistic excellence. Jane Austen's genius is shown in her making the familiar and commonplace intensely interesting and joyful and amusing. Perfect in finish and full of delicate strokes of art. Her works require to be read with attention. They are not to be read cursorily as one does the novels of the others. They must be read with care and attention. if one is to enjoy them fully. Feminized the English novel. Jane Austen writes as women should, women about women, and of themes that are of the first importance to a woman. Her presentation of the masculine mind is confined to the picturing of men in as much as they love their Syria, as much as they appear to women, and not to the not as they appear to men. She is acquainted with her limited number of people. Her eyes keep. She is acquainted with but a limited number of people. In her novels, therefore, we find ourselves in an immensely grateful, immensely feminine atmosphere. She represents a feminization of the English novel, and is in this report the steel stands at ship constant to by constant to. She represents a feminism of the English novel, and in this respect, the stands in sharp contrast with Fielding. Her chief theme is love in the life of a woman. The beginnings of love affair in progress or its decline, the speculations, courses, and the rivalries, the pleasure, anxiety, or triumph of onlookers, the foibles and vanities on one hand, and are to be good quantities. On the side, the beginnings of a love affair in progress or its decline, the speculations, jealousies, and the rivalries, the pleasure, anxiety, or triumph of workers, the foibles and vanities on the one hand, and the good qualities on the other, which disqualifies women, the influence of circumstances, and approving might fool the circumstances and upbringing upon their chance. All this is absolutely delineated. Originality in the torment of law. Sir, given her novels are essentially the love notes given by younger. Originality in the treatment of love. Her novels are essentially love stories. However, they display little of that kindly comedy which pleases, because the reader feels that the number ridicules her characters only to present them in a generous light. Jane Austen's humor is not genial. No doubt we smile and laugh frequently enough, but we do so because we we find her humor pungent, and her view pungent, and her view of batsmen matured luckily out of a series of pundit, and her view of human life basically that of a satirist. Here there is usually something not like quite kindly, or in the kindly or in the serious or in the laugh provoked by Jane Austen. She is too serious in her medicine, humor approaching farce into her stories. Like its life is treated with an earnestness and a dignity worthy of moral reformer. Business is business, and love is the business of Austen's heroines. Her love stories are all different shades of love, and each one of them, of her novels, is as distinct from the other as those stupid people in Pride and Prejudice are stupid in their different ways. It is because Jane Austen is so supreme an artist that she holds so high a place in the history of English novel. But when we turn to Scott, we find range of incident, of passion, and of human insight, in the splendor of which we forgot his defective art and rank him higher than Miss Austen. As a matter of fact, we can do her more justice by admiring her art than in making a claim for her, which in the end cannot be maintained. The truth is that the triumph it induces in the reader to bring Miss Austen into comparison with Scott is inept. Professor Bradley has observed that her minor characters have a Shakespearean likeness, but to make such extravagant claims for Jane will not do. She is great as an artist. Scott is often careless as an artist. Many of Shakespeare's passages fall short of beauty, but this is never the case with Jane Austen. Perhaps this is true of all her novels, that they are dramas, only that the novelist occasionally develops her characters with a narrative. If ever a novelist were a dramatist, it is Miss Austen, and all her novels are comedies. Like Molière, her comedy is the comedy of manners, in which common sense shatters the absurdities and pretensions, shams and affectations of the comic personages.